I definitely planned for you. So I just want to keep having you click in the chat box, click, 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 because truly millions of people all around the world are clicking. So click. Now, let me also share something with you. Are you excited about today's webinar? First of all, can we also put in the chat box applause for Sam and everybody over at Center for Women in Enterprise? Because I want to tell you something. We all need to pivot together. There's no one person on an island. No one's just going to swoop down to your basement and find you. We all really need support. And so I want to just honor CWE for all that they do to ensure that individuals with dreams and goals, that they can systemize their ideas. So make sure, as Sam says, that you follow up. Now, I'm super excited about today. So I want you to know that I really thought about you. And when I call out your sector, I want you to say, yep, that's me. So whether or not you were a restaurant owner, I want you to put, yes, that's me. Or whether you're someone that's a health guru, I want you to put, yes, that's me. Maybe you're in the beauty industry. Maybe you have a new product. Maybe you're like, I'm pretty new and I just know I want to be an entrepreneur. I want you to let me know who is in the room. So you're a business owner, you might be an expert, meaning you've spent many years in a given industry and now you're trying to pivot into consultancy, or maybe you just have this gumption that you want to do something and you're not really clear yet. So I want you, don't be shy, put, yes, that's me. I love it. Roseanne says, I'm pivoting into knitwear design. I love that. Telehealth bathroom. I love it. So I should see it continuously going. I want to know who is in the room. Are you in the health sector? Are you in the finance sector? Because these things are really important to consider. Now, how many of you said, you can raise your hand or you can put yes. If you felt like when the pandemic happened, you were like, oh my goodness, were you like me aside from the fact that we all want to be healthy, but were you like me where you said, oh my goodness, now what? How do I pivot? Can someone say yes? I was wondering. Emily says, I just retired from the military and started an ice cream truck business. Awesome. So I know I wasn't by myself when COVID hit and I said, oh my goodness, I'm either going to freeze, because as many of you know, if you were in a business that was traditional where you had people coming in or you were doing live events like my company was, or you were doing something where you have a mom and pop shop, or maybe you even were a vendor, right? We were really heavily impacted. So when COVID-19 hit, my company decided to be a first responder. We partnered with organizations like Small Business Strong. We did many webinars and many things to help people pivot. And that's why I'm so proud of CWE and I'm excited to be here. All right, so let's jump on in. And so you guys give me a second to switch some gears. You'll see me going back and forth between slides because I like to virtually look at you. And so I just wanna say thank you for showing up this morning. So as you can see, our topic for today, how to kickstart your social media with TikTok and IG Reels. Really quickly, take a selfie of yourself and make sure you take the screenshot to follow me on Instagram, because I'm going to be talking about some bonus giveaways that I'm doing just to help you to continuously pivot and build your business. So, as you know, my name is Dr. D, but a lot of you may already know or may not know that I have done a lot of work around kickstarting your social media blueprint, work with organizations, like I said, Small Business Strong, Laureate University, doing things with Harvard Ed Portal, Boston Central Library, you name it, I've been there. Not only that, but I've had the pleasure of really teaching thousands of individuals how to pivot, whether it was in my digital classroom at notable universities or whether it was behind the scenes with Fortune 500 executives. I've had the pleasure of showing people how to minimize the overwhelm. So can you please put tech overwhelm if you ever felt overwhelmed about all this stuff about social media? How many of you have felt overwhelmed? Can you put overwhelmed right in the chat box if you've ever felt that? Come on. I'm not judging you because I remember what I felt when I started my business. I love it. Emily says yes. Haley says tech overwhelmed. Yes. So you're in the right room. Can you put, I'm in the right room. I felt overwhelmed. I'm ready to go. I know I need to use this stuff, but I just need to know, how do I do it? So you are definitely in the right room. So here's my story, right? So like I said, I came from an education background. My background of research in new media, in persistence, in digital communication led me to a time in my life where I was working at a notable institution for many years, and someone came up to me and said, Alana, we are shifting things, and we need to shift your position from this many hours per month to literally like 3 hours per month. Okay, guys, I was like, wait a minute, what am I going to do? So how many of you have been economically impacted by COVID, or maybe your job shifted, or maybe, you know, your revenue wasn't as high as it used to be? Now, I share that because when I was working in that capacity, I was one of the highest income earners. But when that happened, my revenue lessened by 80%. So I was like, what am I going to do? So I had to really be careful to think, how can I offer my expertise, all that I know, and how do I do that digitally? How do I really find those individuals that can really learn from me and learn the passion? And how do I remain authentic, right? So how many of you say, yeah, I want to learn, how can I use social media to organically find the people that need me, show my genius, and share it? How many of you want to know that? Well, let me share. So in 2016, after another story of relocating from living abroad, Hubby and I had a long conversation, and I said, I really think it's time for me to start my own business. And he said, are you ready for what that means? And I said, sure, I'm ready. But I really didn't know what it meant because I had imposter. Somebody put imposter in the chat box. Even though I was an expert, even though I spent 24 years teaching people my skill sets, I still felt like an imposter. Okay, who's still with me? Raise your hand. Who's like, I'm in? I can explain, I felt that before. So look, I had that, and I just thought, can I do this? Now, the thing is, it's not that I didn't know the value that I had. I just thought, really, another thing? So when I decided to go live on Instagram, it was 2016. I kid you not, I will never forget it, because I'm going to stop sharing this so I can look you in the face. So you guys give me a second. So I decided, wait a minute, I need to stop being afraid. And I have a business card. It's now time for me to have a business. It's one thing to have a business card. It's another thing to have a business. You need to make revenue at some point, right? So I said, okay, I'm going to go live on Instagram. And I picked up my phone, and I literally was, speaking into my phone and saying, hi, hello, my name is Dr. Alana. It's so nice to meet you. And there was nobody talking back to me, right? But I was doing that every single day. At 4 p.m., I was going live when the algorithms for that were high. So what ended up happening was that I just thought, this is really a waste of time. So I'm going to put my phone down. And I put my phone down after about a month and a half. And there was a woman all the way in England who said, Dr. D, where are you? It's 2 a.m. I'm waiting for you to come on. And I thought, oh, wait a minute, there's something more to this. So I picked up my phone again and I said, wait, I need to be consistent and I need to show up. Somebody put show up in the chat box. You see, I was my own challenge. I had to get myself out the way. And I realized, wait a minute, this is not just about picking up my phone and doing a video. This is really about feeling the need of my particular or potential client and showing them that I'm a real person. Somebody put, I'm a real person. So the first thing I decided was, number one, I'm going to show up now. I'm going to be consistent, and I'm not going to care how many people are on the video, because look, with social media is an entity where people jump onto these community platforms and they share behind the scenes aspect about either their brand or their product. So I realized that, you know what, let me just calm down. Somebody put calm down. Let me calm down and let me think about the message. Let me think and focus on what it is I say I really want to do. And that calmed me, right? I began to show up as the business owner and leader I already was, but I shifted the focus off of me and put it on the message. Woo, that was good. I love a lot of engagement. So if that was for you, say, woo, that was for me. So I shifted that. And what started with just 0 followers grew to about 12,000 followers across all different social media platforms, around 7,000 people following on Instagram, around 3,000 on all of my different Facebook communities, and just so many others that I'm a part of, including partnerships. So I recognized that it was going to take more than just that one-off or that one-off post. And that's what I want to encourage you to think about as we go through this. You have a unique value, you have a unique business or a unique product. And the reason why we use social media is to build community around a product or a core message or a theme or an idea. So it's a bigger picture, because when we get into TikTok and IG Reels, you're not necessarily building their platform. Their platforms are just a bridge for you. So what you want to think about, how you want to think about this is, what is my bigger message? What is my bigger why? All right. So Kim Fuller says that was for me. I love it. Thank you. Yes, Emmanuel. Yes. Calm down. Keep it real. And one of the things that happened, the more consistent I became, I didn't care if I was dressed up in a video one day or if I decided to do a video template of just small images. I realized, no, I have a message and I do have those people that need what I have. So just keep that in mind. All right. So let me keep going. So with that said, because of the engagement on IG, 23 women asked me to host a conference, and I started to form a conference, and 23 women from around the country and some outside came all the way here to Boston, and we had our very first conference. And from that, my business continued to grow. And, I can't say it enough. It's so beautiful to think that all of this began from one live on Instagram of all things, where women and men, because we serve men as well, women and men were able to kickstart and launch their businesses or pivot their business into some kind of digital platform. So let's talk about mobile and social adoption, right? Now, this was in 2018. This has definitely increased. But if we look at how all the generations have used social media via their phone, it's amazing, right? Even the silent generation born in 1945, that is at 23% back in 2018, more so now, baby boomers, right? With millennials and Gen Xers taking the cake for most of the usage. But that just lets you know, even after the pandemic, many people were home looking at their phones, looking to, whether it's for holiday purchases, looking to figure out how they themselves could pivot. So with that said, I want you to think about Dorothy going down the yellow brick road. As I tell my students at Northeastern, storytelling is really about sharing images, sharing moments, and captivating individuals to think beyond just a long verse conversation, right? And when we think about The Wizard of Oz, we automatically, for many of us who watch that as little children, we automatically can picture the yellow brick road. We can picture the journey that they took. Well, did you know that every single time you click on a number or a series of things, you're following someone's journey, you're following that brand? Now, when we think about Starbucks, for example, we're not thinking Starbucks has a digital story. Absolutely. If you were to even do a case study analysis on different brands like McDonald's and Starbucks, you would clearly see, oh my goodness, they're telling a story. Watch the McDonald's story and see and learn, why did they decide to let the brand be red and yellow? Right? Look at Starbucks and look at how they have a lot of humanitarian efforts behind their story. So when we think about, well, what do I post? What do I actually do with TikTok and IG? I want you to keep in mind that today's discussion is an overarching discussion about the purpose and the goals for you to use these tools. And then in our second discussion, we're really going to implement. So you actually will have homework after this. Who says, I love homework? You're going to get homework. You're going to actually have action-based things to do as we go through this. So one of the methods I came up with is called the click method. And for me, this changed my business. Because when you realize that social media is not just about posting, and you realize that it's really about, when we're looking at it from a business perspective, I always tell my clients and other constituents, whenever you post from now on, if you're a business owner, you've got to find a way to be thinking about what I call my click method, which is number one, C, you got to have a clear message that's consistent throughout. Think in 3-month increments. So you have to have a clear message. Number two, you have to be able to really locate the needs of those that you want to meet. Locate it, meaning what are the pain points? You have to be able to ideate. Don't just say, well, I'm going to go on social media and find other profiles that look like mine. Now you can start to do that with research, but then you have to figure out what's something different I can do. And C, you've got to create wonderful experiences where people can either kind of opt into something or they can get to know your brand more. And then lastly, you should be able to measure. Your key is the return of investment of your time. So when we think about social media for business, it's definitely not just popping out images. I've seen so many clients come to me and go, well, I've been posting all day and nothing's happening. And I'll say, well, we can't post with a CMF plan. Cross my fingers. I hope it works. We have to have true strategy, right? So no CMF here. We got to have true strategy. All right. Who's still with me? Because I know when I get excited, I just go all in. All right. So hold on, let me get back to my slide. So you definitely want to remember the click method. So here are some of the things that you want to start thinking about. So when we're strategizing, right, we're not just posting things. We've got to think about our business. And so number one, what's the narrative I really want to tell? What is that narrative, right? So if you're a business owner who is, let's say one of my clients created a program to help people crush their debt. And so when we thought about that narrative, we had to really sit down and think, what are some of the pain points that adults feel about finance? Well, we definitely were able to narrow down on her target, talking about how high the divorce rates are because of finance, talking about how challenging it might be to balance, the finance and the schedule to do it. And so we think about all of that, and it could be whatever your industry is. You have to think, what's the narrative? Then you think, what kind of visuals do people need to see? Number three, is there a special event or an online event that I might be able to have to showcase maybe some of my brand message? Number four, maybe I can use these platforms to expand influence. See, when you become a micro influencer, that just means you have 3,000 and less followers. And that means you do have a stake in the engagement of those people who would follow you or a hashtag. Number seven, can you or will you plan on leading these followers to purchase a product? And six, you want to think about, how can I use these visuals to share my solutions? And again, how can I address the pain points? So you've got to get clear. And, number one, when we think about the Instagram, for example, Instagram is a social platform that allows you to share pictures and reels now and stories and even video in short form that really highlight either the behind the scenes nature of something you're doing. It could also highlight the fact that you're a micro influencer of a given genre, and also too, you might decide, well, I have IG, I have TikTok, or I will get into TikTok. So the thing about our discussion about Reels and TikTok is that whatever you learn to do on either one of those, it's similar. Their only distinctions of difference is in how you actually display the short videos, whether you use one filter or the other, whether you create your first video on Instagram and then migrate it over to TikTok or vice versa. So you can do that. All right. And then we'll talk about Reels and mobile applications that help you to use these tools. So when we think about Instagram, hold on, because I'm going to pull up my Instagram account first. So hold on. And while I'm doing that, I want you guys to put, I'm still here, Dr. D. Let me know that you are pulling in from today's workshop. And even if you go to my Instagram page, you'll already see that I have a little hello message to you there. So hold on, let me share my screen. I've got so many screens open, guys. It's just part of the process. All right. So the first thing I want you to do when you look at my Instagram is I want you to start looking at it, and I want you to tell me, what are some of the main things that you immediately see when you look at the Instagram account, whether it's color and schema or whether it's messaging. If I were to scroll down slowly, what are some of the things you absolutely see? Kim says, my beautiful face, thank you. What are some of the other things you see in terms of color? Let's talk about it. Good, you see the color, you see the texture, you see bold colors. Good, you also see, now, typically, right, you definitely would see purple and green because those are our brand colors for our conference. And for the most part, we focus this Instagram account primarily for our women constituents. And when you're a brand like myself, like when you are let me stop sharing, when you are a brand like you're a coach or you're an author or you're a speaker, people want to see your face. So one of the number one things I have to tell people is get over it. People want to connect with you. And so sometimes it's not good to just have images of your target. People really want to get to know you. And when we talk about business, and let's say you're a service provider, how many times, here's my question, how many times do you think people will go to one of your platforms before they either follow you or purchase from you? How many times do you think someone will go to either your website or your social media handle? Anybody? 8 times, Roseanne says. At least 3, Kim says. Anybody else? 7. All right. So let me just back up. It really depends on the level of investment, and it also depends on what industry you're in. When it comes to high value programs, people will go to your website at least 18 times before they actually make an actual follow or purchase, right? Now, they may follow you quickly, but don't just think, I posted something, so that's it. It takes people 18 times. Somebody put 18. So do not think, oh my goodness, no one clicked like on my image. Oh, well, that's it. Because when you have a high value, let's say you have a coaching program or even a product that you eventually want people to opt into, you have to realize that you are really having a digital conversation with people. So if you post one day and then wait 3 months later, you've lost that conversation. Why I say that is because, now let me go back to my point of Instagram when I started it. Again, I thought initially, oh, let me post these videos and someone's going to sign up tomorrow. No, that did not happen. It took, when I was first starting, it took at least 4 months before my core 23 people started to really follow. And then after that, I realized, wait a minute, I need to bring people into an experience. So when you're thinking about social media, I want you to think of the bigger picture, right? What can I lead people to experience? Am I leading them to buy a product? Am I leading them to some kind of opt-in I have? What is going to be the major outcome that I want to have happen? All right, good. Let me go back to my slide. And so, yes. And so when we think about TikTok, right, there were some studies done to look at where the percentages lie with TikTok and, how likely are you as adults to create a TikTok account? And so it's interesting because one could think, well, you know what? There's only about 19% Gen Xers using TikTok, and with boomers, only 8% or so, and it's actually increasing. So one could think it's a waste of time, but don't think that way so fast because it is steadily growing and it is steadily changing. And with that in mind, you have to realize that any time you decide to use TikTok or IG, you're doing it to either build brand awareness, you want to show the fun with your brand, and you're thinking about how you can expand your reach. Now, again, you are establishing a digital blueprint. Now, with IG Reels and TikTok, you create these really short video clips. Somebody put short in the chat box. Now, look, a lot of times people think, oh my gosh, I've got to get on IG. I've got to look perfect. I've got to prepare for these videos. And so they end up not doing anything. Well, TikTok, that's where there's a distinction. You could literally be drinking coffee and playing a song that resonates with your given generation, drinking coffee with a caption that says, "Good morning, you can win today," right? You can have a really simple caption there. And people who drink coffee in the morning or who love the song you're listening to, they, for example, will say, "Oh my goodness, I love that song." Now, one of the things I do in my challenges and in my other, it just depends on what campaign I'm on. I may pick a song in a short video that resonates with my generation. So one of the songs in my tribe that we would often hear, or they would often hear me play, is "I'm Coming Out" by Diana Ross. Now I could do a short video clip with "I'm Coming Out" as the chorus, and I could just be dancing a little bit in my chair and having "I'm Coming Out" playing over that. Well, what happened over time when I created my tribe, people realized, oh, it's Dr. D. When is she going to play the "I'm Coming Out" song? And people started dancing to it, so that when we showed up at the actual event, people wanted to hear the "I'm Coming Out" song. And the good news is you're just sharing little clips. You're figuring out, well, what is my message? How can I use TikTok and IG, these tools in here, to really highlight maybe a song, or maybe my feeling about something, or maybe, a behind the scenes moment? How can I do that? And then you want to think about the angle of your focus. And lastly, I have mashups, which I'm not going to talk about today because we'll spend a lot more time with that as we move on. So you have to think, what story am I going to tell over a long period of time? And that's one of the best distinctions I want to tell you. The difference between a social account for personal use is that, you're just kind of highlighting things and having fun throughout the day. You don't necessarily have a purpose or something where you want people to take action. But when you have a business account, you are thinking, what really is the campaign I would like to have? What are the communication pathways I want people to take? So I always say triad approach, 3 types of touch points. Somebody put touch points in the chat box. You want to have touch points. So when people go to my Instagram feed or LinkedIn, or they go to my TikTok page, which was still growing, then I know, okay, that it doesn't stop there. I'm taking them there, but I'm always going to lead them to either submit a form or to take an action or to comment below. So you always want to think, from now on, as a business owner, I shouldn't just post to post. I have a business. I should be thinking, what's the longer message around my brand and around my business? All right. So let's talk about it. What is TikTok? So TikTok was originally Musical.ly, that had, which was like a music app, that had 100 million users. And then ByteDance decided to transfer those users over into their platform with 100 million users and had them join TikTok. And TikTok is a platform where you're able to have short form video. So your videos can be as short as 6 seconds, or they can be as long as 30 seconds, similar to Instagram. But in Instagram, you have Instagram Reels for shorts as well. And you also then have the Instagram video, which has to be definitely more than 1 minute long. So Instagram and TikTok are similar in that you can post short form video, but the difference with IG Reels and IG long form videos is that you have the option of what type of video length you want to display. And so as we're focusing on TikTok, I want to share that TikTok, with it having the earlier days of it being somewhat of a platform where you would see groups of people dancing with captions, now you're seeing more and more adults and professionals using TikTok. So one of the things that people tend to do is they will find a trending song. And we're not going to do it today, but if you go into my Instagram and you watch the video I did earlier today before this meeting, you will see how I used a trending song to talk about how I feel about doing this presentation. And so you're thinking all the time with TikTok, what short form video? And so that could be you doing a 10-second dance to something. That could be you taking all of your team at the restaurant and deciding to wear a common t-shirt, and all of you, do the electric slide with your brand on it. You can do something like that. You can also, and also put it on Reels. You can do something like form your own hashtag, which we will talk about in the next workshop we have. So you can use these tools to really showcase the message around your brand or to build more community around your brand. So you want to think, bring us on the journey. So we have this gentleman here, business owner, restaurant owner, Kang Lee, 80 years old. His business was struggling. And his grandson decided to show a behind the scenes video clip of, how his grandfather really works in the restaurant, and put out a TikTok video playing the song Cloud9 and asked visitors to help his family out because the pandemic had impacted them so much. Well, this sent scores of people to the restaurant, and to the grandfather's surprise, he just couldn't believe that something as, like a TikTok video would lead that many people to want to learn more about his business. And his grandson kept it authentic. Business has been slow with Corona, so it would mean a lot if you came. There they have the hashtag small business, hashtag sushi, hashtag Texas, hashtag food. So you want to think, how can I be authentic? It's not about being perfect. Somebody put that in the chat box. I don't have to wait till next week for everything to be perfect. I can actually bring people behind the scenes to learn more about my brand or more about my product or my service. But I have to be honest too, when you're thinking about business in terms of the long range goals, you do have to think about your premise, or what's the foundation of what you're trying to do. So you have to have consistent traction with the consumer. You have to know what they are expecting from you. You want to think, how can I create relationship between the consumer and my brand? And how can I share a great opportunity with them? And you want to think of your brand as an asset. Every time you post, that's part of your asset diary. It's kind of like every time you post from now on, you're creating a digital blueprint. So you want to ask yourself, how can I keep my positioning? How can I define my social media identity? And how can I follow up with conversions? So I want you to think about what I'm sharing. How many of you have said, oh my gosh, this is good? Oh yes, and the guide piece, we're going to come back to that because that's supposed to be part of what we're going to talk about with this sample case study. So let's say that we meet someone named Diana Smith. Let's say that Diana Smith, since 2004, she was a speech instructor. 2013, she gets a master's in education. 2015, she has multiple certifications. 2018, she starts her consulting company. And let's say in 2020, due to the pandemic, she has lost work, or she's no longer affiliated with some of the places she was working with. And, let's think about what she might be feeling. Now, you might relate to this. What do you think some of Diana's concerns would be if this were really her case? Or what are some of the thoughts you had when the pandemic hit? So Diana, I'm sure, is saying, oh my goodness, I made 80K as an educator. What do I do now? I've taught workshops. How do I figure out how to, to grab a hold of these people that may need my actual solutions? Good. Margarita says she might be asking, where is the money? Come on. What else might she be asking? She's heard that you can use social media, but what might she be thinking? I'm just going to pause. She has all these years of experience. Good, Christine. Where do I start? Anything else? Where do I start? Where am I needed? You guys keep coming with the questions because this is great. Who can I reach out to? Who can help me? I love it. So now, when I thought about this, I realized too, I could relate to my clients because just like Diana, they had needs. And just like you, they were also at the very beginning of what they were doing, right? So of course, we formed community around my tribe. And one of the hashtags we have is UPML, which stands for I Can Upgrade My Life in Biz. If you're in my tribe, just put tribe so I can say hi to you. But as you can see, each one of these people that are in my community, they all had different levels of interest for what they wanted to do, but they were able to leverage their revenue growth. They didn't have 10 years to do it. They just had to have a strategy. Clients Ron and Tippy, they made a $1,000 increase just from being a part of our community and learning the Click methodology. Tara Mazanek to my right in the bottom, she formed a digital coaching program right online. So a lot of people had to pivot. Vina, another client, she empowers caregivers and she's growing her social media following, but with a plan. So you want to think about that. And when you think about people like Diana, that sample case study, and these people that were prior clients, I want you to know that they all came with different backgrounds. So the number one thing I used to always ask is, why should someone be hooked to your message when you post? What is the value that you bring? And the first thing is you want to activate that viewer so that they see, oh my goodness, there's something about what they have posted that really captivates my attention. You want to create at least a short 12-second video. And maybe if your brand, it has a really cool message, you can come up with group choreography. You can even get your family together. And just like you see the pictures with the t-shirts, right, with the branding on it, you can have t-shirts with branding. And what people love is imagery. They want to know what's the message. And then you want to have some kind of link for them to click. Now, let me share with you, for example, I just need to share this so that you can see the difference between how I use social media for business. Let me go back here. So if you were to look at my Instagram, for example, you will see there's a link tree at the bottom. It's a great tool if you're a business owner because it creates a link and kind of like a quick sheet set of links that allows people to know all the things that you offer. So if somebody were to actually click this, you would see our special blog, you would see the invitation to come to one of our meetings. You would just basically have a menu of choices as to how to tap into what we have going on. So you want to think, how can I make my choice of Instagram or TikTok really engaging, but don't forget to include these important things in terms of your bio and these other integrations that allow people to know that you don't just have a social media presence, but you actually have some offerings. How many of you guys say, oh my gosh, that was good, I needed to hear that? I'm going to pause here because I want to make sure I haven't lost you yet. Who says I'm still here? Say, yes, I'm still here, right in the chat box. I'm still here. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Margarita, because I want you to know, I do miss seeing you guys actually in the room. Imagine if you're with me in the room. I love looking at you. So virtually, I'm appreciating this. Awesome. So you're still there. That's great. Thank you for letting me know. All right. So when we think about that, we are then thinking, I want to send people to link. I want to send people to click a link, right? Whether they're going to link to a campaign, whether they're being linked to a cause, or they're being linked to a sign up. All right. So when you tap into your TikTok, you can see like this, you'll see a red button there. And then you'll see right below an arrow that says, okay, 60 seconds or 15 seconds. What I have found is that the algorithms are better. Algorithms are just measurements of where the social media platform will position your image or your video so that more people can see it. So I have found that when you do the shortest video, it's the most impactful. All right. So with TikTok, it's okay if you have a 15-second video. The other thing I highly recommend is if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do video, there's nothing wrong with photo templates. Now, photo templates are amazing for a couple of reasons. Number one, you can do a photo template, which a photo template just allows you to have 10 photos uploaded where it follows a theme. So don't just choose the photo template and then choose 10 random photos. No, you want to make sure it's branded well. You want to make sure it follows your schema in terms of color, but it tells a story. So if I were, for example, a nutritionist, maybe the 10 photos I show are a little bit about the brand, and then maybe I give you 3 secret tips to losing weight. If it's a product, maybe I'm showing you a couple of images of behind the scenes things that I'm doing. So you don't have to necessarily have a video when you're on TikTok, because these video templates turn your photos into actual short form videos, if that's what you choose. The beautiful thing too is that you can always download the photo template and you can re-edit it. So some of the things I'm talking about, we will actually have live time next week to do so. All right. So when we think about it, once you open up TikTok and you decide, okay, I've got my short form video, I have my branding, I know what I want to do, then you can make the decision to choose either a trending song. So if you see on my left, you see a couple of songs here. And if you look at the playlist, you'll see this fire icon that says trending. You can click that to know, well, what are the trending songs? And what you'll notice is that you'll see tons of people using a common song or a trending song, and they will either have some kind of funny video meme, or maybe they actually are dancing to it solo, or whether they're doing it for business. But I have to make this classification. So when you decide that you want your TikTok to be a business TikTok page, it's a little different because you cannot use the licensed songs. You have to use the royalty-free songs that TikTok gives you for the business profile. So it's a touch and go of whether or not you decide to keep your TikTok as a business profile, or if you keep it as a personal profile. The difference is that with the business profile, you can do things like list your website, and you have some other creative things. And of course, TikTok ads you can add to it. The other thing I want you to realize is when you post anything, whether it's on TikTok or in IG, don't get stuck on how many people played or how many people viewed. Make sure it's about your messaging, okay? So you can post a video and literally it might just show, okay, 23 people watched it, maybe not that many people liked it. And sometimes I just play around. Sometimes I'll post something and go, let's see how this does in the algorithm. And sometimes what I think is gonna do well does terrible. And then other times I'm like, oh, okay, 6,000 views on that one. That's interesting. So you have to be open, but the number one thing is be consistent and try it out. One of the coolest things about TikTok that's different from Instagram is that whole idea of having well-curated photos and all of that goes out the window with TikTok, because they wouldn't mind you sitting down eating your favorite donut and maybe having a little bit of donut on your face, or they don't mind that, because part of it is these moments where you're sharing aspects of you or your brand that most people wouldn't see, or most people would think, oh, that's not perfect. Why is she sharing that? But actually, people on the TikTok platform love that. So you want to think, how can I be unique? How can I use music? How can I, use these items? All right. And so let me just move down. So back to my case study here. So let's say that this woman decides, I'm finally going to pivot from being a speech instructor to an online trainer. So she decides, oh my goodness, I need to go live on Instagram. I need to go live on Instagram, or I need to do an IG reel or a TikTok video, because I want to meet those individuals that I want to help. And so let's just say, let me go back to my slide for a second. Let's just say she realizes, wait a minute, I need to do an analysis. I need to figure out the challenges of the clients I want to serve. So she says to herself, I want to help individuals who feel burnt out. I want to show them how to use their speaking skills, and I want to provide some kind of digital training. So let's just say she studies her target. All right. So she studies, oh my goodness, I want to help these professional women. I want to help them to succeed. Now I'm going to stop this because I know you guys are paying attention. She decides to use IG images. What kind of images do you think she should be posting? She has expertise already in speech. She loves what she does. She obviously has it in her. Now she has to figure out, I need to reach the target. She studied the target. These are professional individuals. Some of them are stay-at-home moms. Some of them are also trained in what they do, but they don't speak as well as they would like to. And she needs to use social media. What are some of the things that you think she should be posting on either one of these platforms? I'm going to let you guys think about that for a moment. You're thinking, I can tell. Pictures of her intended targets. Okay. B2B also. Yes. Okay, good. Anything else? I like that idea, Christine. Yes, she could definitely do things like have images of her target audience with captions that really highlight, maybe one secret tip to building confidence with speaking, right? And she can have that, and she could literally have an image of that. Okay, good. Videos of her talking, good. Herself working with someone, maybe add a caption to it. That actually would be good. It'd probably be stronger as a story. We're not talking about Instagram stories today, but that would be a great example of what to do in an Instagram story, where if the person agreed to it, she now is showing some spotlight coaching and people get a little snippet. Now, Gary V, you guys can look him up. He does a great job of that, where you can see him, he's a social media guru, and you can see him showing clips of himself speaking different places, or having his materials broken down in really bite-sized chunks. Short video with secret tips and her story. Okay, good. So you guys are following, so that's great. So you got to study your target. You got to know. So let's say she has to, if she's going to think how to be more effective, she has to know what are some of the things my target struggles with. Oh, she struggles because she's busy with her day job. She has the goals to become maybe a more notable speaker. Pain point. 2, she might lack confidence. She might have self-doubt. She might hold back from opportunities because she doesn't feel like she speaks well. So Diana has done all this work to study her target, all right? And so she decides to do a 20-second video, to do a captive post that inserts the pain points and has a call to action. So when we are thinking about how to do this, we can always have captions that either say things like 3 ways to captivate your audience. And she could literally have within her TikTok video, she could be dancing to a great song for that target that they actually like, with the 3 actual tips right on it. She could do that and use hashtag small business, hashtag communication hacks, hashtag, and just keep thinking about the hashtag that is relative. So let's just say that this prospect, Laura, does tune in. And let's say Diana got the idea that she has to be consistent, and she's done it over a 60-day period. She's done a good social media campaign. And you know what? Let's say that Laura actually books an appointment with Diana, and Diana tags Laura in an Instagram post. And then Laura eventually, through their engagement, she eventually signs up to a mastermind and pays $599 to actually become one of Diana's clients. And that realistically can happen. So I want you to remember you want to bring your audience on the journey. Now, I've got some homework for you, but don't worry, I'm going to share the link of where you can find that homework right when I'm done sharing this slide. So what you're going to do with your homework, and this is going to be great for you to bring it back to the next part too, is to, number 1, describe your business. Number 2, talk about your 3 core messages. Number 4, make 1 short video and tag me on it. So you can find me on both Instagram and on TikTok with Dr. D Inspire with a Y. And so you can tag me on it to win a free e-gift. And then I want you, whether you tag me or whether you took a selfie of yourself today, I want you to let me know, what did you pull from today? All right, so here's some of the things to think about. You want to think about your video core message, make sure it aligns with your brand, use movement, integrate a trending song, think about your target demographic, and analyze the reach. So don't just post and walk away. Make sure you make time to look at, well, how many people viewed it? And did I have any new people click like? You want to make time to do that. And then lastly, I want you to know that just like you, I was an entrepreneur, very new to all of this. And I decided to come up with a challenge called the Upgrade My Life and Biz Challenge, where I help seasoned entrepreneurs and professionals leverage their earning power, where they can understand how to go from 0 to 6 figures in their business if they're newpreneurs, or even leverage what they're doing, where they identify core messages and learn basic hacks to increase engagement. So what I want you to do today is make sure you grab your Spark dollars. When I tell you I stayed up late last night thinking about you and what you need, I decided to create a Spark activation link. Somebody say, yes, please give me the link. I want that. That's where you're going to get homework. That's where you're going to understand some next steps. I even have a bonus video to this one. So you can just tap on that link. I'm going to put it shortly. And I really want you to do your homework. Now, let me say this. Nothing will change until you show up in your business. Somebody put show up again in the chat box. Show up, show up, show up. Because when you show up in your business and you take your business seriously, So many things can happen. And we do have time today. So I've made sure that we have plenty of time for questions. And even for some of you, some actual things, pragmatic things you can do today. So I want to share with you this slide so you can figure out how to get a hold of me. But I also will share with you, hold on, guys, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second. I also want to share with you this link so that you are activated. Well, actually, let me share this as well. So when you click on this link, because I believe in good homework, I believe, if you show up, you never know what happens. When you click on this link, you're going to have your bonus video, and you're literally going to be given opportunities for how to tap in and learn more about how to expand your genius and to get started on setting the premise for your social media branding, whether it's on IG or TikTok. So you can't just start posting without having a great plan in mind. So let me share with you this link, and hold on 1 second. And then after that, I'm going to ask Sam to take any questions that you might have, because we have about 30 minutes or so. So we have plenty of time. So there's the link there. Now I want to say a couple of things, right? So the tendency is to come to a workshop like this, to take plenty of notes. And what do you think happens? At least with my clients, they're awesome. They're geniuses. They're great at what they do, but they take the notes and then they shove them underneath some counter, or they go, oh my gosh, that was great. Dr. Alana was great. Oh, that was good. Bye-bye. I'll see her in a couple of weeks. I don't want you to do that. Somebody say, I'm not going to do that. What I really want you to recognize is that when you come to a workshop like this, everything I'm sharing, that's one layer of you acquiring that knowledge. But the part 2 of it is you actually sitting down to process what was shared and figuring out how that really relates to you. That's why for some of you, I definitely want you to take immediate action, because I'm literally going to be checking my emails to see how can I help you strategically move from point A to point B. So the one thing I want to ask you here is, what scares you about TikTok or IG or social media altogether? Because I know for me, one of the things I had to get out of my way was getting out of my own way. I did not want to have my image on photos. I remember when I first started, I didn't want that. I just thought another thing, and it kind of felt like a heavy, heavy weight. But once I changed my perception about it, because I realized, wait a minute, it's really that there are millions of people out there. Why not me? Why not the people that I feel are drawn to me authentically? I can serve them. I do have something to offer. So I love all of you. Thank you guys for being so authentic. Lori says that I can't keep it up with it as frequently as I should. The time that it takes, it's a whole job. Being stalked is my biggest fear. Never used before. And do I have the time per day to post? Putting something up that I'm not 1000% happy with the quality, to save marketing costs, having to be consistent, the pressure. Guys, I want to say, oh my goodness, I have been there. I understand what that is like. And that's why strategy and structure will save your brain. Sitting down and thinking things through before you just get up and post will save you. That was the one thing that helped me to change from being a business owner that was doing okay into one that started to earn 6 figures. And let me tell you, I did not use Facebook ads. Can someone say that? I didn't use Facebook ads. I realized that. Now let me backtrack. So I didn't have a bank loan. I didn't have a lot of investors. Who's relating with me? I just knew I wanted to understand how to use social media, but I also knew where I had to be cost efficient with my budget. I had to realize that I had to make time. And so I wasn't, at the time when I first started my business, yes, it was overwhelming. And then I settled down and I started to do what we shared today. I started to think about my big why. And I said, what can I realistically do with my time? And what is the key message? Can I have someone put less equals more? Less equals more. What we want you to do is to not be so productive that you don't see any return. We want you to be strategic in how you operate so that you're working less and you're being more productive. And so for me, with such a limited time, when I started the business, I realized I can't be on here all day. And I certainly don't have 8 hours a day. But what I did do was sit down and really think about what the outcomes were, the outcomes were that I wanted for my business. And I call it actions, intentions, and outcomes. When you recognize that when people are looking at something, we want them to make an action. Why? Because I intend for them to get a lesson and I am looking for an outcome. When we're that clear, we then can start seeing results. And for me, that's what happened. Now, I don't believe that you should buy Instagram followers for a number of reasons. You don't want to buy 10,000 followers only to have a few of them really be your target. So that's why I rather say, oh no, you only have 100 followers, that's great, but are they the right followers? You only have 11 people, that's okay, but are they your right potential client? So don't get lost in the numbers in the beginning. Don't get lost in how many people click the photo. Get lost in your brand message. Get lost in what you plan to offer others and show the excitement and joy that you have. So less is truly more. So how many of you are enjoying that? Now we have plenty of time for questions. And I want to say, I appreciate every one of you because you could be doing anything right now. And the fact that you tuned in with CWE and me to learn from this, I hope you're getting a lot of value from today. So I want to just also remind you, we have an Upgrade My Life and Biz Challenge coming up in November that is absolutely complimentary because you showed up. That's $1,000 and $997 value. And we're giving it away for free. Why? Because I know that it's difficult. I understand what it was like as a newpreneur to not really know how to begin. So I'm going to pause here so that Sam can take any questions. And Sam, I want to say thank you so much too for having me here.
Oh my God, thank you. I've been like taking notes myself. So selfishly, this is really great for me.
That's great.
Let's see, we've had some good questions come in. So this one is from Maria, who says, thank you for this great webinar. I wanted to ask about those of us who are starting now and the message is not out there yet, how to start building a following and some interest.
That is great. So I'm sorry, what was the name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria, thank you so much. That's an awesome question. The first thing, and this is great because that just means you get to start from a clean slate. So please just understand that every entrepreneur had their day one. So you can put day one in the chat box if that's you. So everyone had a day one. My first thing that I would have you do is definitely make sure you click the link to the right so you can watch the bonus video, because I really guide you through that homework assignment. The first thing I would actually have you to do is to, let me actually share that screen again. So give me 1 second. Hold that thought. I think I minimized it. So let me pull it back. There we go. Nope, that's the video. 1 second. There we go. Okay. So one of the things, if you're new, one of the things I would have you do is definitely, take the time with these questions. Let me just go back up. Yeah, I would take time to really think through, what are the 3 core messages? That's important. So it does take time. I always tell my clients and new constituents, you really have to spend at least 2 hours thinking about what's the message I want to really share. If I had to think about the color scheme for what I'm doing, because branding is not only about the messaging, but color means everything. Think about when you go to when you go to the movies, when we used to go to the movies a lot more, you would be able to understand the climactic point of a movie because of the red hues, or you knew if you were going to see a Disney movie with your family because of the blue and purple and those different colors. So when we're thinking visually, we have to think what's going to captivate this particular person. So if you think about a brand, if you don't have the brand color schema yet, just think what brand color could really resonate with the message I'm trying to give. Is it a bold message? Is that like a red bold message? Or is it like more motivational, inspirational? What is it? Actually, let me ask, Maria, what is your business? If you can put it in the chat box. And Jennifer, so to answer your question, there is a part 2. Sam has just put part 2 there, and the link to the homework. There you go. There's the link to the homework. So the thing is, you really want to take time to think about that. And then because your business is so new, I would really be setting it up so that you're really building around your brand message. Maybe they're not taking the action to purchase anything from you yet, but you want to make sure that the right people are following you. Okay, good. So herbal cleansing. Oh my gosh, you definitely need to be on Instagram for so many reasons. And also on TikTok, you can do a lot of fun things with TikTok, whether you show these wonderful templates of these photos with you talking over the photo, you can do that. Let me also put this other application in here. For those of you who hate doing video, this is an actual great tool because it's text-based video. So Vimeo Create is an actual awesome tool because it does all this cool stuff and it makes your message look amazing. So you can use that tool, download it on your phone. I believe it also works with Android if you don't have an iPhone, but it's a great tool. And there's so many tools that you can integrate or use if you don't want to be on video at all. So don't think I'm an introvert, this is not going to work for me. Just think, oh, I need to pivot and figure out which strategy do I need to use, because video, so it used to be that, back in the day, it used to be you could have a static website and that's what made people buy. But today you have to have touch points, and video is one of the number one things, right? I'd rather watch a video in 10 seconds that's either going to let me laugh, learn about something, read a testimonial versus reading a full document. Right. Now you have those other things in place, but as we get more and more in this season, we're seeing a lot more video consumption. So good. Any other questions?
So this one is from Margarita. Started business in January and need tips on how to build the right audience, how to test those who follow because they want to connect but are not real clients.
Yeah, so we have to, once you let your friends know that you have a business, okay, you have to realize that you're going to feel like there are crickets around you and you're like, what's going on? That's a natural feeling to have. The best thing you can do to kind of really gauge what your audience wants is to do a lot of what we call soft surveys. You can use a tool like SurveyMonkey where you can really create a survey around your given, where you're asking like these 10 questions, have you felt, and I don't know all the details of what you offer, but, these questions can kind of make people think, oh yeah, I've been feeling tired lately, or I have been feeling blah, 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 or from a rate of 1 to 10, would you say you fall in this category? So you really take time to create assessments that people can actually tap into. So, oh no, they qualify for my product, or they really are not a fit. However, when you're building awareness, it's okay that not everyone that's looking at your feed is your client, because they may know someone that is your client. So when you're posting for your internal constituents, or those people who know, like, and love you and understand what you're doing, and also for the external ones, right? So that's where social media can become interesting. So if I were you, again, I would definitely take time to think, who do I really want to focus on? And based upon that answer, that lets you know what kinds of posts you should be doing. Anyone else?
So it looks like we have a couple folks with their hands up.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, Deanna, I'm gonna press allow to talk and you should be able to unmute yourself if you have a question. Let's see. So Deanna, if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, or you can type in the chat and be like, that was an accident. Oh, gotcha.
She said accident.
All
Okay.
right, I'll mute you again. Jennifer, I'll allow you to talk. If you have a question, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. I somehow lost the screen and trying to click on everything. So
Oh,
I can't see anybody. I don't know if anybody can see me. I'm answering some kind of TOFGI social media assessment. I was trying to copy and paste it into notes and then the whole screen disappeared. This is how terrible I am with.
Oh no, but
kind
that's
of
okay. 'Cause you can basically take the bonus homework link and you can click on that so you don't have to take screenshots. Are you able to click that link right there?
I was on some kind of like I did download homework and then I did the social media
Oh, you were
assessment.
already on it. Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing. And then I put something in the Spark activation. I used my business email instead of my personal. So I don't know if that's going to make a difference.
Oh, well, you can do it again and just put the email well, that's great. Well, congratulations. You can basically let me put the link here again. You can just
I don't know where you are. I can't see anybody anymore.
Oh,
like,
if you
I don't know
click
what
on
happened.
the view at the top of your screen, can you see that to the top right?
Yes. Yeah.
Click on that and then click on speaker.
I don't see a speaker. Enter full screen.
You can do full screen. You can click on that too.
Okay. No, I don't see a speaker.
Or click on gallery. Oh, that's, you guys can't see. Can you see me?
I can't see anything right now except for
Ma'am,
this
can you see
Spark
me?
activation.
Yep,
I don't know
I
what I
can see.
did.
Okay.
Don't
Don't worry.
It's just, anyways, let me just ask my question.
Well, yes, go ahead. And I'm going to put my email in here. That's fine. I'll put my email so you guys can reach out directly.
This is just me. I don't know how I lost it, but this is my issues with social media. So I have a wellness business and I'm trying to I think I have too many things and I'm not sure which way to go with them. Like I want my wellness business to grow, but I also have some like personal endeavors that are very interrelated that I would like to grow personally. So do I have like two different accounts? Because one is like focusing on like all the people that are part of my business, or do I have like
so a couple of things.
I don't really
Yeah,
know.
well, first of all, Jen, let me ask you if it's okay, if you feel comfortable, what's the personal aspect you also want to share?
Well, I'm wanting to move in towards doing a body mind centered kind of coaching, like drawing from a lot of different areas of experience, but kind of bringing it all together.
I love that. No, so that's perfect because that leads me to believe, if I think about the digital story you're trying to tell, is that you not only are tapping into wellness, but then you're tapping into this bigger discussion around what does it mean to have a whole life? I mean, I'm assuming, and what that, and so what that means now, how long do you presently have clients?
Oh yeah, more than I want to for what I'm wanting to do, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like you need time sometimes to like take a step back from that really intense one-on-one to just like dream and think and build and create and form. Like, and I feel like I'm too busy doing the day-to-day stuff to like really get into like what it is, like let it all kind of marinate and like come together.
So the first thing I want you to do, because I have some juicy things for you and anyone else, I did put my not my personal email, I put my business email there in the chat box. So I have so many exciting things. Jen, do you have a pen?
I do. I just feel sad that I can't figure out how to see you. Yes.
But that's okay, because what I'm about to say is going to help everyone else, and you will get, and Sam's going to send out the recording of this. So number one, you have a major ecosystem in your business, and this is really exciting. You have a major ecosystem. Number two, if I were you, I would be automatically thinking, what is the top one action that I want people to take after they view any post? So what's one action they can take? And number three, how do I really want to digitize my experience with my clients and with what I'm doing? Now, you remind me of a lot of the clients I've worked with in the past, because like you, I have some amazing health gurus that, I mean, they have done some amazing things in terms of transforming the health of others. And when you're able to create a digital experience, you can stop being burnt out. And I know how you feel. So anybody else who's listening to this, say, oh my gosh, she's not alone. You don't have to be burnt out. And the problem is that there's nothing wrong with the beauty of the pandemic and the challenge of the pandemic is that the challenge was obviously the gyms closed, certain things closed. And so people had to pivot online. The beautiful part is there are a lot of one-to-many ways now to capture not only those you serve, but to also make sure you are highly compensated for it. A lot of times when have been, Jen, how long have you been doing what you have been doing? If you don't mind me asking.
I mean, altogether, the journey started probably close to 20 years ago.
I knew you were going to say
15.
that. Yeah. Okay. So definitely, I want you to sign up for the Upgrade My Life in Biz Challenge, because we basically activate you every single morning, 7:30. We're talking about how you can actually start today or in that moment with elevating your business. So what I want you to know is that you do have that big ecosystem, and I definitely want you to set up a strategy call, definitely work with CWE, but in terms of marketing and in terms of your digital story, you have now. The thing is that with health and wellness, Instagram is going to be your go-to, because that particular generation of individuals, there's so much more you can do with reels and tie it all in, and the link tree, everything I just talked about, that we would have to really sit down and think, okay, how do we streamline this so people are not lost, number one, and how do we take what you've already done, because you have a lot of genius if you've been doing it for 20 years, how do we take that genius, streamline it, so that people all around the world can tap into you? And that's the beauty of digitizing what you have going on. So it does take strategy, but I want to commend you already, because I know just like the clients I have, you've probably served so many people, but now we need you to take care of yourself so that you're not burnt out and that you can use these tools to help you. Was that helpful?
Yeah, and I feel insecure talking about myself, but I have like so many people that give me like really great compliments, and I have people I've worked with for years, and I've been like, okay, because I'm working, with someone who's like, hey, you need to get your Google reviews up or whatever. But it's like I'll ask them and they won't take the time to write like a Google review, but they'll like pay for and like send tons of people to come work with me because they've experienced like such healing and stuff. So I'm like trying to figure out how to like capture what other people are saying about my business. Like,
well, what I definitely
want
what I want you to do, so this is gonna make you feel shy, but when we leave this meeting, I definitely want you to email me. I don't want you to be shy. I want you to share your genius, and I want you to share with me maybe one or two testimonials that people have said about you, including your website and anything else you want me to see, so I can actually respond to you today. And that's for anybody else tuning in. If you have a business and you've heard what I've shared today, don't wait. Email me today. So thank you, Jen. I appreciate you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I
appreciate this. I'm trying to keep up.
It's a lot of information.
Yeah.
After that again, you're welcome. So you're going to email me today, Jen?
Yeah. And somebody will send me something where I know how to email you.
Yes, I put it in the chat box again. All right. Any other questions?
We do. They're coming in hot. So how do you build social media when your business is more local, or should you?
Oh yeah. So there's so many. If whoever asked that question, can you put in the chat box what the business is?
That was Emily. If you need a reminder, Emily, so throw that in the chat. Perfect.
Okay. Emily, an ice cream truck. Okay. So, okay, I love that. So a couple of things, during
there you are.
What happened? Oh, Jen, can we mute Jen? Thank you, Jen. Okay, so Emily, I'm in the chat box. What is it that what are you trying to do, and how have you marketed in the past? You can also unmute yourself, right, Sam?
I think I have to allow her to, so give me one second. All right, Emily, you should be able to unmute yourself, or if you want to put it in the chat.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. So basically I'm just trying to get more people to know about the truck and book events And I mean, obviously, this is a seasonal business. I just started it last year. This is my first full season. And I get a lot of, oh my God, I didn't know there was an ice cream truck around here. I wish I knew, so I'm getting a lot of business, and a lot of people are absolutely in love with the truck, but it just, people don't know about it. I have about 100 and something followers.
That's fine. That's good. Are these people? That's fine. We all had a day one. Well, here's my question. I'm assuming you get a lot of families, right?
Right.
And you said that is it a year-round business, or is it just a summer, like based on the season?
It's seasonal, so it's beginning of April through the end of October. So Halloween is the last day.
Awesome. So I think a couple of things. And if you don't mind, where's your business located?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay, cool. So now the number one thing that I want you to start thinking more about is how we can, so sometimes we have a core product or a core service. In your case, it's the ice cream truck. And since it's seasonal, we would want to think, well, the season's about to end. So how do I keep the 106 that we've had? How do I keep them engaged? And also, how do I actually maybe align this with a bigger message? So what I mean is, now that, not that you have to do this, but let's say that this was my business, what would I do differently? So number one, with those 107 followers or the families that enjoyed your ice cream, I would number one be asking or emailing them, if you haven't done so already, oh, hey, maybe you might do one last thing with your truck, which is probably something I would do. Asking people to come, and let's just say I branded with a special or a fun t-shirt. That's like a really cool, fun t-shirt. In my case, if I were thinking about the families, maybe I had some really cool colors, that have my brand on it with maybe some ice cream. And I invite, for anyone who comes or anyone who tags an image on Instagram or shares why they love my truck experience so much, come down, grab a t-shirt and grab some ice cream. If you're going to do something, let's say the summer isn't completely over yet. So when you get these people coming, you're having them take selfies with their families. You're having the child, especially a great TikTok video, licking the ice cream with ice cream coming down his mouth, looking like he just can't believe he's just having another ice cream from your truck. And you're having a professional photographer capture some of these images. Well, this is like awesome. And and maybe the truck season has ended. So maybe you still, you can also do things like call it, 7 or 8 of those people in different times, of course, but have them take some interesting photos with them holding the ice cream. So because you want to use these shots. Now, one thing we don't think about is niche marketing or cause marketing. And one of the things I often highlight to people who happen to serve a lot of families or children in general is to find a bigger message. So in my mind, you have such a robust opportunity with the educational ecosystem, because that means to me, if we're going to establish a strong brand locally, just right there in Connecticut, one of the things you could start doing, or, there are ways to align with micro influencers right there in Connecticut. So what you end up doing is you can make a fun video of choreography. You can have, you can also do some kind of challenge, and it could be a challenge at home with ice cream. It could all be around the messaging about fun, joy, and family. I'm making this up, but it could be all, let's say the core themes were fun, joy, family, blah, blah, blah. And all throughout the year, you're getting people excited about that. And then come springtime, when the schools are looking for really cool things to do with their kids outside, boom, did you know about this truck? Every single school should know that your truck exists. Every single local community, stay-at-home moms, and all these people should know that you exist. And part of that is going to be with your strategy. So if you have 106 people, that's great, because the average person has about 200 people in their regular Facebook day to day. So imagine if you asked each of them to share something or share an image about your truck business. That can be really exciting. So you have a lot of opportunity. You just have to plan how you want that to, how you want to share that message as this season ends, but then prepare for, the springtime. That's what I would probably do. So September to January would be all about people getting to know and like your brand. And then definitely I would have some kind of whether it's an online event to get people excited about ice cream. But in your event, the big thing is going to be around partnerships. So you're really going to have to think, who are all the other constituents that align with this idea around ice cream fun? When I think about fifth grade, one of the best math classes I ever had was my math teacher decided she was going to give us all ice cream, and she was going to show us aspects about science from how fast we licked the ice cream. I know this sounds really funny, but it was amazing, and none of us that were there in that fifth grade classroom ever forgot it. So ask yourself, how many people, institutions, organizations would love to have me come with my truck? And I tell you, you will be very busy. So thank you.
Thank you. The schools definitely have hired, all the schools around here have hired me, the rec, the sports, they all know about me. So that's been keeping me busy. But I just
Awesome.
didn't know if I should like sleep the account for the winter, or how to keep people.
No, don't sleep it.
Okay.
Please, this is like your time to, I would probably also come up with a really fun, I probably would also come up with a fun logo that really is something fun. Like when we think about McDonald's, you think Ronald McDonald. I would probably have someone, a branded image like that really clues young people in. So wonderful. All right. Any other questions, Sam? Thank you so much for your question.
We definitely do. So let's see. I believe it's Tiffany, but I hope I didn't get that wrong. Starting over in a new state, how would I start a campaign?
Can we ask Tiffany if she wants to be unmuted to explain her question a little further?
All right, let's see. All right, Tiffany, I just hit allow to talk, so you should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. I can't see you, so but either.
Oh. Okay, well, go for it. I'm here though.
Okay, well, I just moved from Kentucky. I'm in Foster, and I have I'm a portrait photographer. I'm starting all over. So the thought of like, I've never heard of making a campaign. I don't know anything about TikTok. So this was really exciting for me to hear more about TikTok, but I don't know as far as like, how do you start a campaign and then run with that?
Yeah, so let me ask you this question. Where do you spend, in an ideal world, where would you like to spend most of your time in terms of what you do with new clients that come to you?
In my studio.
Okay, you're in your studio, but are you serving people with weddings, anniversaries, birthdays?
Oh, I see. Okay, so we're still waiting for a contractor to finish the studio. So ideally that would be done, and I would be with my boudoir studio with my boudoir clients, or outside with families, seniors. So those are in maternity. Like those are the highlights of what I love to do.
I love that. So your niche group is not necessarily, in your case, it's not necessarily going to be on TikTok. It's definitely going to be on Instagram. That is one of the #1 places for photographers to go. And because of what you want to do, from what I hear, you have a really unique positioning that you would want to do, and you have tons of opportunity. The reason why I say that with certainty is because the #1 challenge that people often have is how they want their visuals to appear, especially professionally. And because you have that background, it's going to be around the campaign, around what types of photos that you do. And you're really going to want to not necessarily explain what you do, but your photos, because most photographers I know, they love to tell a story through an image. And so because of that, one of the things like, for example, at Northeastern, when I'm talking to my grad learners about the UX experience or about what people experience when they come to a site or to an Instagram page, is the angles of how stories are told, right? So I can take a selfie shot, which is supposed to be kind of like an intimate shot of me and my thoughts about something, or I can take a behind the scenes shot from where, you know, the angle is like, I'm bringing you in, I'm bringing the viewer into something that I normally would not share, right? Or over the shoulder. So there's all these images that if you and I were in a room talking about your strategy, we would be talking about, well, how do we allow your studio to really shine through? How do we share your service in that you could be helping so many people that are pivoting, especially in the now, with how their imagery is. So I definitely also would suggest that you click on that bonus video and, you know, and make sure we stay contacted. And in that way, I can kind of further help you in that way. So hopefully that helps. I wish I could talk to you much longer, but I know that we're at 11:29 as well. So Sam, any other quick questions, or are we good to go?
We definitely got a few more questions, but what I would encourage folks, like if we weren't able to get to your question, you will be getting an email from us with the homework, the link to that website, and with Dr. Alana's email address. So definitely feel free to reach out to her there. And then other than that, just thank you so much for joining us today. I will include the link to part 2 of this series in October. So definitely register for that. Do your homework. And other than that, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to say, guys, so yeah, really do the homework. Like I literally love reading and learning about your business. So this is a great opportunity. I stayed up till 1 a.m. So make sure that you let me know, hey, I'm a business owner, so I can help you. And you don't have to wait until next year to get this going. We can make this as simplified as needed. It's just about being sure about, you know, your why, and knowing that as long as you stay true to your messaging, your people will find you. And as long as you know that and you align it to the right platform, whether it's IG or TikTok, you're in the right place. So I also want to thank Center for Women in Enterprise for inviting me. Don't forget, do your homework so you can come to part 2 ready to go. And usually when people do their homework, you come with even more energy. So thank everyone for sticking around. Thank you for coming. And thank you again, Sam, and everyone over at CWE.
Oh, thank you so much. And thanks everyone. Look out for that email and hopefully we'll see you back in October.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.